Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. As you may or may not be aware of, I actually do a lot of editing in my videos. I cut out a lot of the ums and all of the dead silence to try to give you, the attention-starved viewer, as much of me as possible. Today, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to give you an uncut version of this no, who am I kidding? Today's Hard 100 video. It's going to be with minimal edits, mainly because the camera that I'm using on the iPad that I'm using does not allow me to record for longer than 5 minutes without giving me shit, so I have to constantly kind of pause and whatnot. But there's going to be no other cuts. It's just going to be raw, dogging the footage for the people, just so you can see how much effort actually goes into one of these and what it looks like when I don't do that. That was mainly because the game we're playing today and talking about today, I feel like not a lot of effort went into that, so why should I put more effort into my stuff if they don't put the effort into theirs? But maybe, just like you're going to see today, the effort that they put in is not immediately visible. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoy. This is kind of the equivalent of whenever you see the super sexy models on the cover of Vanity Fair and whatever without any makeup. I'm not saying that it's like that, but it's like that. So ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoy this uncut version of the Hard 100. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Hard 100, the video series documenting the culling of my collection from what it is to what it's going to be, and that is a Hard 100 games. You know what my favorite single moment in this entire hobby is? It's that moment whenever you flip a card or roll a die or, you know what my favorite moment in board gaming is? It's the moment I'm gonna call the moment. It's that moment whenever you draw a card and look at it and go, or whenever you draw stuff from a bag and, or when it mostly occurs, it's when you roll these die that I actually found on the floor from a previous video, where you roll it, and that moment from it, when it leaves your hand, it's tumbling and going and it bounces off the table and onto the floor. And it's that moment, that Schrodinger's moment of the dice and the cards and the tiles being exactly what you need or fucking you entirely. Ladies and gentlemen, games can live and die by that moment. Chinatown, wonderful. Most of the games where you have to draw a card to do a thing also does it. But today we're going to talk about a game that takes that moment and just... Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to be talking about a game... Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to be talking about a game that I played recently that takes those moments and turns them into moments. You'd think I would have learned my lesson by now, but no, I'm stubborn as shit. Ladies and gentlemen, Imperial Settlers, roll and write. More like roll and wrong. Ha ha! Imperial Settlers Roll and Write by Ignacy Treswick and Portal Games is a game in which you and or some people are going to be rolling dice, and that's it. You're going to roll a dice, and then based on how many people are on the die will depend on how many things you get to mark off and do. Let's do some housekeeping. Okay, that's not really fair, is it? I didn't really like Imperial Settlers, but I thought I would like the Roll and Write because I like Roll and Writes, but I think the name of the game should have been its first indicator that I was in for something a little generic. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So a game of Roll and Write has you rolling and writing, they included pencils, thank you, on these little doodity pads, and let's, whoop, wait, is that the only one I have? Nope, these, doesn't matter. So here is your prime source of the game. And as you can see, that's what it's gonna look like when it's done. You get to name your thing, it's no chicks unless you're down, and then the providence of butts. So we are a very mature lot. So let's take a look at the thing you're going to be writing on. Because as you may or may not know, hold up. So as you may or may not know, once you roll dice in a roll and write game, you're going to be doing stuff with these symbols. We'll talk about that in a moment. So here are the things you're going to be doing. These look an awful lot like these. So that moment has come. So what you're going to do is you're going to roll the dice, and then this little guy here, this little pink die, which is bigger than the rest, will show how many actions you get to do. So let's say I get 4 actions, and I get a foodie, a woody, and a stony. So I take my pencil and I mark off a foodie, a woody, and a stony. And that's it. Good job. And at the end of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 rounds, whoever has marked off the most woody, foodie, and stony in the game adds up points and they win. As you can see, I am a master of foodie, woody, and stony. But wait, it's a little more complicated than that, but honestly, not much. So what you can also do down here, if you get stars, which are wild, because on here you got foodie, woody, and stony, and then you got this little coin for money. Money gives you things. I forget what money does, actually. No, money is wild, right? Yeah, money is... Yeah, money is wild. I'm going to say money is wild. If it's not wild, then I'll be wrong. I'm going to say money is wild. Hold on. Yep, money is wild. So you can mark anything. So for example, let's say I rolled this. I get 4 actions of a wood, 2 woods, and a food. So I can take this wood and I'll mark off both of these together to mark off that. And look at the victory points that I got. I'll take this food to slowly mark off that. Some of them don't have anything in them, but they're all wood, stone, and food. And down here you can get bridges to give you access to other things down here. So these are resources. So if I build this bridge, I circle this bridge, and now I have access to all these resources anytime I want. That's how I have more actions than I do things, but I can still do other things. What am I doing with these resources? Well, I'm getting them, and then the furthest one gives me dim points. But then we have this over here. So this is just some extra stuff. So you mark it off, and now, you got a farm, and every turn you gain an extra food. Settlers, every turn, your 2 resource die is same, you get extra stuff, and this is okay. This is just extra things, and then there's this little thing down here, because whenever you build a building, you can try to Tetris it over here, which is really hard to see, but it's on there, and then you can possibly get extra points for, like, for example, down here, 8 points for every that I have. It's fine. There's nothing on the back. In the solo game, there are a bunch of different how-do-you-dos with basically just different buildings that give you different things, and you're trying to reach a score. No big whoop. But before any of that, we got to talk about these things. Now, this is what is going to be in the game for the amount of people plus 1. So Phil and I played, and yoink, we have this. At the beginning of every round, whoever is the first person chooses a favor than the other person. That's just an extra thing. So in addition to all dim dice I rolled, I get that coin. Or I can choose that thing. Or I can get another pink person. Or I can do whatever that is. Or I can do that. So there's only 3 of these, and that is a problem with the game. Let's talk about what I like about the game before I talk about what I don't like about the game. All right, so first thing, I do enjoy the dice. I love the wooden dice. I love the rolling. I like that it comes with pencils. I like as a solo player, it has all of the extra buildings. Yeah. All right, cool, good talk. Now, let's talk about what I didn't like. First off, these little favor tokens, you only get 3 of them. That is not a fun thing. So if you get these 3 at the beginning of your game, that's what you're getting. Deal with it. I would have rather a sort of, I would have rather these tiles been some kind of cards, and maybe we put 3 of them out every turn, and then they get taken away, and then, these go away, and then we add the 2 more. Just to give some kind of variety, because in our game, there were the 3, and one of them always never got picked, so we just went back and forth between the 2, and it was not a good time. It was fine. All right, let's talk about something else. I do not like the Imperial. I do not like the Imperial Settlers board game. I think it's okay. So I do not like Imperial Settlers as a board game. I got rid of it a long time ago, and I got this because here's the reason why I keep not learning my lesson. Because two things. First off, Ignacy Treswick made a game that I absolutely adore. Fuck, that's goddamn heavy. And one of my most beautiful board game boards of all time, Robinson Crusoe. Now, the man, the myth, the legend that made this beautiful beast, I don't understand how he pooped this out. The man that made this beautiful pret-à-poitois, I don't understand how he did this. It's like whenever you make cream, I assume, and it all rises to the top, this is the stuff that gets scraped off. This Robinson Crusoe pret-à-poitois gets scraped off the top. And all of the other stuff that gets sold for, you know, mass food products ends up being another Imperial Settlers game. Why do I keep doing with this with myself? I should have known. I should have known something was up whenever I looked at the name of the game and I saw that it was Imperial Settlers Roll and Write. Now, I do love a good roll and write game. I love many a roll and write game. However, it's such an unoriginal title. Roll and write means you roll the die and then you write something down. Not to be confused with the flippin' shit genre, where you flip over a card and write shit down. It's very different. So the roll and write here is just Imperial Settlers Roll and Write. But then you have a game like Cartographers, flippin' shit game. Does it say flippin' shit on the box? It didn't. How about the best and my favorite roll and write game, another flippin' shit game, Welcome to. Does it say flippin' shit on the box? No, it don't. How about Fleet, the dice game, as I said in that video. This is a wonderful, wonderful game with the two-pad thing and you're rolling dice and basically doing the same thing where the dice allows you to check off something, you check off the things, and then you get advantages. Where does it say roll and write on here? It just says the dice game. I feel like Imperial Settlers, the dice game? Anything other than roll and write being so on the nose. It feels gratuitous. The other word. Tedious. Also, Rodney Smith, you're a goddamn treasure. Thank you so much. Anytime we need to play a game and we don't want to read the rules or haven't read the rules, we pray and we pray that you've made a video. And then when you did, we set up the iPad and we turn on the video and then we go. I don't care if your video is an hour long. I don't care if it's 7 minutes long. It gets watched whenever you want to play a game because it's quicker and easier. Bless you, sir. Bless you. So here we are. I've rolled and I've wrote. I hear there's an app that's pretty good, but I don't care. Let's do some housekeeping. It is 1 to 4 players. I played this with 2, and it's just the little thing, and it's fine. The difference in player count is you get to do these, and you are always, no matter how many players, you're rolling the same dice. Die. Also, I don't think there's a way to get negative points in this game. You don't have anything working against you. I mean, fucking, you gotta have something. Had something. Hope the YouTube people does not give me the copyright strike, because that was pretty spot on. It is for 30 minutes. It is pretty short, so that's good. It's only 10 rounds, and it's okay. And then ages 10 and up, because who the fuck cares? Roll and Write has an app, as I mentioned. I did not play the solo version, because here's the thing. When I play a game solo, I'm essentially testing the game to see if I want to play that game with other people. I'll play Horrified by myself to see if I want to play Horrified with another. I'll play anything by myself that has a solo version to be like, oh, I want to take this to someone else. But the big multiplayer version of the game, will be sort of a test to see if I do want to play the solo game. This has made me not want to play the solo game. It has made me not want to play the app. This is, and I will say this officially with no malice aforethought, this is baby's first roll and write. This is right up there with my first Stone Age, my first Carcassonne, any of those things. If you were to rebrand this as baby's first roll and write, but obviously not that because that sounds like derogatory, but hey kids, you take the die, maybe make them bigger and chunkier. Game developers, make your dice big and chunky. What the fuck is wrong with you? Take these big chunky dice and roll them. For kids who are like, oh, I get that, and I write this down. This could be an excellent my first roll and write, because I think it's a great introduction. But the reason why I don't think it's an introduction is because it's for ages 10 and up. Get that shit down to 4 and 5, roll dice, pattern recognition, see, oh, I can do this, I can mark that down, that gives me points, especially since nothing's really working against you. They fucking say that, this extra thing is the advanced game. Advanced for who? Ya mama? That's rude. But even the advanced game isn't really that advanced. You can make this 1 or 2 buildings or a common building for everybody that just gives them extra things. I think this would be a really good roll and write for someone's first roll and write. With that said, with all that being said, of course, roll and write Imperial Settlers is out of my hard 100. I have no interest in playing this game again. I have no interest in keeping this game. If they were to remake it with a first roll and write, I think it's an excellent first example, but it's not a good example. If you're gonna play a roll and write and you've never played a roll and write before, and you are over the age of 5, yeah, flip some shit with Welcome To. If you want something a little meatier, boom, flip some shit with Cartographers. I've made videos on both of these. Go and watch them. And if you want this roll and write specifically, and you like the 2 pads and just marking stuff off and getting an experience out of that, ladies and gentlemen, go pick up yourself a copy of Fleet the Dice Game, because it does all of that with the 2 pads and just rolling the die and makes it a lot better. Railroad Inc. Is this the worst roll and write game I played? I mean, probably. But at the end of the day, honestly, it's kind of like pizza that even when it's bad, it's still good. But man, no. Yeah. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me on this, the latest edition of the Hard 100. I hope you and yours are well. Ooh, that hair is doing something today, and I'm liking it. Wash your goddamn hands. Thank you for goddamn voting. Peace out.